We got to see the first episode of season 2, Coach Prime's documentary series of Coach Prime, the genesis of Jackson State football. Now, I must admit, Coach Prime and his coaching staff, they pulled the curtains back for the world to see into the vision of the new look that's going to come out from the Jackson State football program. And I'm going to tell you right now, from what I'm seeing, things are going to definitely be on the uprise from here on in. But we're going to go ahead and get into it. It's your favorite coach back at it again. 10 toes down, about to tell you how it all went down. This is Tomorrow Leader Sports Network with your host, Coach Walker. If you're new to the channel, please like, share, subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you can get all upcoming videos. For all my leaders out there, welcome back. Y'all know the drill. Y'all know the routine. If you haven't done so already, please like, comment, and share. And hit that notification bell so you can get all upcoming videos. And don't forget, tap in a friend or two and tell them to come on in. It's nothing but positive vibes. We're just having a good time talking about HBCU sports. And don't forget, you can follow us on social media. The links are listed down below in the description. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and tap on in and get straight to it. Because I know many of you already like, Coach, what more can you add to the documentary than what's already been said? Well, I'll be honest with you. Let me give you a quick recap on a few things that I've seen that kind of correlate with some of the things that I said during the season and a lot of the previous videos that I put out for you guys, commentating on things that went on with the football team, and especially with the offensive other things that I saw out there on the field. Let's get into it. Like I said, we all know, we all had a front row seat of watching the Jackson State Tigers football team have one heck of a football season, running through the SWAC in the middle in the way that they did, them losing that close game against Louisiana Monroe, and then again the loss that they had in Celebration Bowl. Now, there's a lot of things that's being unpacked here, and I'm sure Coach Prime is going to talk about all of that all the way through from episode 1 through episode 6. So this is going to be one heck of a ride that we're all going to be on right now. And I'm just basically looking at a lot of the things that took place in episode 1, showing how Coach Prime and his coaching staff were able to get the most out of the players from the classroom to on the field of play. I mean, it truly showed that Jackson State is about their business from top to bottom. Remember, a lot of the players that were on the Jackson State football team, they were no longer there when the fall season came around. Now, a few did remain. Don't get me wrong about that. A few did remain that wanted to be a part of the program. And you can instantly see the change in how these athletes are moving and doing things in the manner in which they need to make sure that they are on point with going to where they're trying to get to. And we already know the objective is to get these players into the NFL. So, yes, they're going to be coached harder than what they anticipated or what they had to deal with before Coach Prime and his staff got there. And a lot of folks didn't quite understand that because they instantly thought that when Coach Prime and his staff got there, it was like, okay, these kids, the players just going to fall in line and do the things that they need to do. No, you got to understand, a lot of these players were accustomed to doing things in the manner in which they were doing, which was allowed and with the previous regime and whomever else that was there. And I mean, we can go all the way back to the high school as well as middle school and rec ball on a lot of things that I saw personally that I was like, you know what? This is the stuff that I fuss about all the time with players and other coaches, that we got to stop this because all we're doing is watching it go up, 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 up. And when it gets to guess what? Now they're ready to boot them off the team. But the one thing that I did enjoy the fact that Coach Prime saw a need and he fixed that need immediately, and that was the practice field. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. If any of you out there have played football at a HBCU, and you can attest to this, that practice field ain't always been on point, because when it rains, that practice field is horrible. I mean, it's muddy, it's clumpy. It's just all type of chaos and craziness going on out there on that field to the point where you can't even practice on it because there's no footing for the players to be out there on the field running plays. You're trying to keep from getting the players hurt. Well, back when we played, players were getting hurt left and right all the time. Why? Because we was playing on shoddy fields, playing on shoddy practice fields and shoddy fields as well. We're just going to keep it a buck with that. But to see that Coach Prime was able to get Jackson State a practice field, that spoke volumes. I was glad to see that happened. And not to mention, when you see and hear the players being bussed from one location to another to go practice for the week to get prepared for games. Now, hearing Coach Prime keep it funky with the players about their grades and seeing how Aubrey Miller got the work done and was able to make the dean's list, I'm waiting on anybody out there to let me know which Power 5 or PWI program is going to put that type of information out there to the world to hear and see and show that athlete was able to sit down and get their work done. I'll wait. because I don't think it's going to happen. And if it has happened, I haven't heard about it. So if it has, leave me a comment below and let me know. Looking at how well the players are being coached up on the field, a lot of these players are wanting to, have that culture swing where the culture's starting to change a little bit. And again, just watching Coach Prime out there coaching up Shiloh, because I know Prime coached him up as if he was one of his ball players out there on the field. And I'm sure they probably had that father-son talk about it at home once they left the field, or they probably just left it all out there on the field. But the one thing that I gotta give this man a little credit, because I know, you know what? I gave him the business, and I'm sure there was a lot of folks out there that gave him the business as well. But I was hoping Coach Prime was going to show this, and he did. From the standpoint of the offensive line, guys, I'm about to be a little critical, so forgive Coach, but I got to call this stuff straight up and down. I got to give Coach Markinson his credit, because he truly had his work cut out for him. I'm going to tell you why. The reason why I say this is because I don't know if many of you have heard me say this before. I coach offensive linemen. That is not an easy task to do. I believe Coach Prime made a comment to the fact that there's linemen out there, there's guys out there that's not looking to play the offensive line. And you know what? They're not. There's a lot of these guys that's on these teams, on not just JSU, but just teams in general, that were quarterbacks, running backs, receivers, tight ends, and guess what? They're now playing offensive line. Why? Because the body that they had at 8, 9, 10 years old, 12 years old, where that body exploded in the manner which now they're a big fella and they're more needed on the line. They can't play those positions that they were playing before. So guess what? That's where they are. And a lot of times these guys don't want to play that position. They just played it because they was a big fella. And you had a lot of coaches out there that have, coddled and made them feel like, hey, we can't win without you, son. Come on. We need you to get out here and blah, blah, blah. Man, please listen. There's a lot of money to be made out there playing offensive line. You can't coach effort. You can't coach effort. Showing how folks looked a little abysmal, a little lost out there on the field when it came to running plays. That was one thing. I was sitting there like, man, what in the world is going on? Like, son, you up on the top level. I guess that was a trap that they was running. You going up top to get the daggone linebacker. Move your feet and go. And in the instance where it happened, I was just like, ooh, okay, I see what's going on. I asked myself the question, what type of systems did these young men come from prior to coming to college? Do they fit what Coach Prime and the coaching staff is looking to do? Are they need more coaching up as far as with getting them mentally ready and prepared for them to move in the direction that they need them to go to be successful? So I have to give Coach Markinson his credit, because trust me, he's out there doing a job that I don't think many of y'all out there will want to do. And I'm sure there's some folks be like, oh, I can go out there coach the line. Listen, if you got kids, it was hard as heck trying to teach them how to write their name with the big pencil on the sheet of paper that had the wide rule lines. So cut it out. I'm just gonna tell you that right now. Cut it out. But not to mention another thing, also a lot of people didn't pay attention to, is the fact that 60% of the linemen that were at Jackson State before Coach Prime arrived, before Coach Prime and his staff arrived, many of those players were used to getting their own way. They were still there. So as the spring waned on to the fall, they lost 8. And then now they lost to another 7, and they got more players to come back in. They see what's going on. Trust me, they're working on it. I got to give them the credit on that. So I know Coach was a little harsh during the season. I just wanted to make that point and say, hey, look, I saw what I saw, and then I had to go back and do a little more research, and then I understood what I saw and why I was seeing what I'm seeing. You get what I'm saying? So, but as far as the Orange Blossom Classic, we can definitely agree that Orange Blossom Classic was won off the backs of the JSU defense. Neither team's offense could get things together. Heck, McKay got pulled out of the game, and they put the other quarterback in the game. So right there, you knew that Coach Willie Simmons, they was trying to figure something out with their quarterback play, in which you even heard the commentators say in the game about how McKay was, how he was, his ability was rising when he played back in 2019, and that year 2020 being off, some things were a little missed. So I honestly believe this year Orange Blossom Classic, it won't be no low scoring game. It's going to be a flat out war out there on the field. Trust me. And not to mention seeing these two coaches, seeing Coach Prime and Coach Willie Simmons have that camaraderie together once the game is over with, after they've competed at a high level with their teams, see them give each other mutual respect out there on the field. That was a beautiful thing to see as well. They have one thing in common, and that one thing that they have in common is A.D. Ashley Robinson. Yes, A.D. Ashley Robinson hired Willie Simmons at PV. He also hired Coach Dooley at PV. And you know what? He hired Coach Prime Deion Sanders at Jackson State University. HBCU sports as a whole is going up from here. And I don't care what nobody say. Best believe you're going to start seeing more current and former athletes from all sports start showing up at a lot of these HBCUs, giving back to these institutions and letting these athletes know that, hey, they are so much appreciated, and giving them the necessary tips that they need to get them to the NFL, getting them to the MLB, getting them to the NBA. These are the things that's getting ready to start taking place. Watch what I tell you. You heard it from Coach Walker first. But until next time, if you like the content, please like, share, subscribe. Hit that notification bell to get all upcoming videos. And remember, be the one and lead.